All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to Region Weather Live. I'm meteorologist Brad Warner, and thanks once more for joining me. Thanks to all the replay viewers that are watching me after the live stream here. I appreciate you finding me. Please go ahead, as always, go ahead and hit the little like and share button and subscribe and all that fun stuff down below on this YouTube page. That helps me out quite a bit and helps more people find this page as we take a look and go through the weather. And let's take a look at what's going on right now. These are the wind chills that we're looking at. Looks like we're sitting at a comfortable 0 degrees down here at Hettinger, a nice balmy 0. And otherwise, everybody else, as we go further to the north, plenty of 20 degrees below the donut. Thanks once again, Tom Szymanski, one of my heroes. 20 below the donut. Obviously, quite cold temperatures, cold wind chills overnight as we're taking a look at this. And so we do have a wind chill advisory in effect, and we'll take a look at that here off the Weather Service. And this is valid until noon tomorrow. Obviously, very cold wind chills expected. They are as low as 35 below. And this is in effect for Barnes, Benson, Cass, Cavalier, Eastern Walsh, Eddy, Grand Forks, Griggs, Nelson, Pembina, Renville, Rowlett, Richland, Sargent, Steele, Towner, Trail, and Western Walsh County. So we're looking at dangerously cold wind chills could cause frostbite and exposed skin in as little as 10 minutes. And so they're saying wind chills as low as 35 below there. So just keep that in mind. This is what we're going for tonight. And it looks like next couple of nights could be the same. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw some more advisories come out throughout the next couple of mornings or a couple of nights, I should say, just because these cold temperatures aren't quite through with us just yet. Cloud conditions right now, obviously really clear skies, not much going on out there, just a little bit of high-level stuff down here in the southwest, maybe a few clouds, very thin stuff up here in the far north. But otherwise, clear skies giving way to those cold temperatures tonight. And so that's why we're getting nice and chilly along with the very light winds and big old high pressure sitting over us. So if you're out tonight, make sure you're bundling up. If you have to travel anywhere, keep those blankets and the snow boots and all that fun stuff handy so that you don't get chilly. All right, we are actually going to jump right into the forecast tonight. I don't know, my daughters say, "Hey, Dad, it's too long, Dad, it's too long." Well, if you want the quick and dirty stuff, you've got the news guys. They'll give you the quick and dirty. Here, we break it down a little bit. I got people who ask me, hey, what's it going to do here? What's it going to do there? What's it going to do at this point? I'm going from point A to point B. Hopefully, these little streams here are here to help that out. Like I said, you can get the quick and dirty on the news and stuff at the 10 o'clock newscast. But here we kind of we try to break it down a little bit. But okay, I'll listen to them a little bit, and we'll try to pick it up, and we'll get right into the forecast. Maybe tomorrow morning, what we'll do is I might try something tomorrow at 7 a.m. and just take a look at the current conditions. We're kind of skipping them a little more tonight. And then just see if there's any changes to the forecast. So I think maybe at 7 a.m. we'll try and do a quick update. So for anybody that's interested in that, make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. All right, Thursday, tomorrow, this is looking at noon Central Time. Here's that cold front that we're going to be expecting to move into the region. But actually out ahead of that, we got some gustier southwest winds ahead of that cold front. So even before the main part, even before the really windy part and the snow makes it into the state, we're already dealing with strong southwesterly winds by the noon time on Thursday. Wind gusts, at least according to this particular model, are looking at anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour in through here, kind of a peak up in just north of Minot. So just be mindful of that even though that front's not through, this model is now, and actually a couple of models have been showing that these strong southwesterly winds will increase out ahead of the front. So we might actually get some blowing and drifting before the front actually goes through. So be mindful of that road conditions could actually worsen a little bit earlier than we thought, just because the winds out ahead of the front are a little gustier than we were expecting. As we get into the 6 o'clock time frame, here's our front at that point, kind of made it into northeastern parts of North Dakota and down through south central and southwestern parts of North Dakota as well. Still got a little batch of stronger southwesterly winds out here, so you can kind of track that as that heads down or heads to the east. So it was out here around noon, so it looks like as it gets into the Devil's Lake Basin, probably around that 3 o'clock time frame, and then in through the valley by 6 p.m. So just mind you that some of these areas in through here through the day could be seeing some reduced visibilities and some ice on the road out ahead of this front. And then we've got the strong northwesterly winds behind the front. And then we're also looking at the possibility of snow along with that. Here is the 9 p.m. time frame, and here's our little front. And you notice we've got maybe a little heavier band of snow just along and just behind that. So I would expect that as the front actually moves through from northwest down to the southeast here, is whenever that wind really shifts, you might get just a quick little burst of snow at that point, and then the snow will lighten up some. But even though this model is not, or this particular model is not really showing any snow on the backside of this, I do expect that snow will probably be lingering far behind this, as has been typical the last couple of times when these things move through. There's still plenty of cold air advection on the backside of this, and with that, it's enough to just produce some very light snow. Not that it's really going to contribute a whole lot to the reduced visibilities, but it's going to be enough that if there isn't any snow on the ground, this will be maybe enough just to drift and blow some. So just be mindful of that even as we get into this time frame at 9 p.m., still looking at some snow on the backside of this as well. As we move into the midnight hour on Thursday night into early Friday morning, you can still see plenty of 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts in through much of North Dakota and northwest Minnesota. Here's our front right now. Oops, yeah, right there. And for some reason, I don't know why it's depicting this hole. We'll just fill that in. Just imagine it's red there as well. Not really sure what's going on with that model or why it's doing that. Seems a little suspicious to me. So we're just going to call that 30 to 40 mile per hour northwesterly winds at this point over the midnight hour. So continued reduced visibilities, probably causing some more hazardous road conditions. Wouldn't be surprised at all if the Weather Service came out with some sort of advisory just because of these winds, and maybe even out ahead of this front as well. Mind you, we had these stronger southwesterly winds out ahead of it, so who knows? Maybe they'll issue something as early as that's valid as early as the noon time frame. But I would definitely think as you get into the evening and nighttime hours with these stronger northwesterly winds, they're going to be 30 to 40, maybe even some 45 mile per hour gusts. We'll probably see some sort of advisory come out at some point for especially those areas that have been very susceptible to the blowing snow, kind of into that Minot and Jamestown and down to Gwinner, up through the valley, and then back around there. So again, probably be your hardest hit areas as far as any kind of travel advisories go. As we get into the 6 a.m. time frame here, we're looking at still some 30 to maybe some 40 mile per hour wind gusts. The front is now way down here. So we're still probably looking at some reduced visibilities, maybe some blowing snow in through this region at that time. And then once we get closer to noon, the winds start to lighten up, and we're just going to be sitting with some 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe some 30 a little bit further in eastern parts of Minnesota, possibly out in the Arrowhead. Might still see some 40 mile per hour wind gusts. So by the noon time, maybe the reduced visibilities are still out here, but any points to the west of here at that point, I would think it'd probably be just maybe some drifting. So I think the visibilities will improve, but maybe it'll take a little bit for the roads to clear up, just because still might be dealing with some drifting at that point. All right, moving on. After that, there's really not much that occurs from that Friday noontime, late afternoon time, until we get more into the late Friday night into early Saturday morning. This is about 3 a.m. on Saturday. And basically what we're looking at here is a warm front kind of sagging right in through this area. And this is going to be pushing off to the east throughout the morning and afternoon hours. And out ahead of it and a little behind it as well, looks like the models want to pick up some precipitation, mainly in the form of snow, at least to start out. As we move this front along, here we are at 6 and at 9, and here we are at the noon hour, and that frontal boundary seems to be sitting somewhere in about there. And we're getting some snow around the Devil's Lake Basin, James River Basin, James River Valley as well. And then once we continue to push that to the east, here's where it could get a little bit interesting. I think there's the possibility, there's some hints that maybe just briefly there could be a thin line of just a little bit more of a moderate snow, to where maybe some areas could pick up an inch of snow. Models aren't really hinting at that very well, but there's sometimes with these warm fronts, as it picks up a little bit of steam here, they do seem to get this dendritic snow that can just drop just a quick amount of snow. So I think even though you might not hear much about it, just know that there is that possibility in the northwestern parts of Minnesota late in the day on Saturday. That could pick up maybe an inch. But otherwise, really not expecting much in the way of snow as this warm front passes through. It is showing some rain on the backside of this. I don't think some of these areas will be quite warm enough for rain. In fact, it's going to be kind of borderline. So it's in fact, this is actually still showing snow down here. But we'll see if that actually occurs. I just know that if it does fall, there's the possibility of some freezing rain with that. Here's the 9 p.m. We're looking at Saturday evening at 9 p.m. So possibility late in the day into the early evening hours of maybe some rain or freezing rain into the northeastern parts of the state. So I'm not real confident on that. We'll see how much warm air works into the mid-levels before the lower levels actually warm up. It's possible, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think most of it's going to be in the form of snow. All right, taking a look at the temperatures for the next few days. As we said, tonight's going to be awfully chilly. Lows of 35 below, especially in the north. During the day, Thursday, it warms up into the teens to mid-20s down in the southwest. And then as we get into Thursday night into early Friday morning, another night of some cold temperatures as we see minus teens down in the southwest, probably some minus 30s one more time. Or again, I shouldn't say one more time. There's one more day. Some minus 30s up in the north and northeastern parts of North Dakota, maybe into the northwestern parts of Minnesota as well. So wouldn't be surprised maybe if they put out another advisory for tomorrow night. As we go into Friday, temperatures really don't warm up a whole lot. Kind of zero around the Turtle Mountain area to teens down in the southwest. So, boy, we're looking at a bit of a chillier day on Friday. And then, of course, because of that, as we get into Friday night into Saturday morning, still there's our one more night, minus 30, maybe some minus 35 degree wind chills. Looking a little better down in the southwest, hovering closer to that 0 degree mark. But one more night, and then, here we are Saturday. This is actually off of, I've been forgetting to show this. Excuse me. This is actually off the Weather Service. This is what the Weather Service is looking at, and they kind of take the models and adjust them as they see fit. And so this is what our trusted boys in the Weather Service are looking at. And they do a really nice job, and it's always good to take a look and see what basically what they're forecasting. So these are highs for Saturday. And then Sunday, we're looking at 20s up in the north, maybe 50 down in the southwestern parts of North Dakota, 50s into South Dakota by this point already on Sunday. And then Monday, everybody's above freezing. Hooray! We're going to make it. We're going to do it, folks. Mid-30s off in the north, 60s possibly down into southwestern North Dakota. Definitely 60s in South Dakota, those lucky dogs, and even 70 as you get down to Nebraska. And then once you get into Tuesday, maybe a little bit cooler off in the north, but still pretty comfortable temperatures. And then actually that's kind of where that's where the Weather Service ends. They go out 7 days, so out to Tuesday. And it doesn't look like temperature is going to be too bad after that as well. So some nice, pretty nice days coming up, and we're going to be looking forward to it, that's for sure. All right, as we look off into the extended forecast beyond the temperatures, here we are looking at that late Sunday night, early Monday morning time frame. I mentioned last night this possibility that maybe some snow would develop. The couple of models were showing a narrow band of snow. I think it was kind of in through this region more. And this was one of the models that was actually showing that. And it did show a heavier band last night. Now you can see it sagged it a little bit further to the south. Maybe even gave it a little bit of rain and freezing rain at that in areas south and west of there. But it also kind of have decreased the amount, at least at this point in the forecast. As we click this along, it does pick up once it gets down to southern parts of Minnesota and southeastern parts of North Dakota. So still showing hints, still showing something of a narrow band of snow developing. Now, this is the forecasted 24-hour snowfall from Sunday morning at 12 or 6 a.m. to Monday morning at 6 a.m. And so this is what one of that model that we just looked at and what it's predicting as far as snowfall rates or snowfall amounts. So they're looking at over maybe 6 inches within this corridor from, Wahpeton, down to, boy, now I'm testing my skills, Winona, something like that, I believe. And then just kind of down in the Mankato and Rochester area. I know those towns. But anyway, but here's some difference. Here's another model. Look how far north compared to this one is. And actually, these were the two that agreed yesterday. So they were fairly similar yesterday. Now this one's still showing the possibility of over, of 4 inches of snow, but it's much further north. And then the model that wasn't agreeing is showing a nice heavy band right across northern parts of North Dakota. So it's looking like it's trying to still paint, some snow, some accumulating snow late in the day, Sunday into Sunday night, where obviously is still a bit up in the air. I do sometimes get frustrated when I watch the news and I'm like, just tell me what you think. Just tell me what you think. All right, fine. What do I think right now? It's far out. It's hard to predict, hard to nail down. So obviously this comes with a caveat. But I guess if I had to, I'd still paint it within sort of that corridor that it had yesterday. So kind of within that region, I'd say there's the possibility of picking up 4 inches of snow, maybe more. So we'll have to watch. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the models just can't quite agree on that yet. It's still out there a little bit of a ways. So, but again, just while we're warming up, while we're trying to warm up, looks like there's this little caveat in it where we might pick up some snow. We'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on it. I actually hope I'm wrong because I don't want any more snow, but just something to be aware of. And then nothing really goes on beyond that. Maybe a couple of just quick hitting dry systems that doesn't really do a whole lot. Here's the one system that I mentioned last night as far as a couple of the models agreeing. They're a little more all over the place tonight, but go figure, just because they don't seem to be agreeing on the Sunday storm. But still, showing another little system pulling out of the Rockies late in the week. It's looking more and more, however, with all that said, another system pulling out of the Rockies, I do think it's going to miss our region. So looks like it's probably not going to be anything to worry about, at least at this point, because it seems like the models are pushing it further south. So that is good news. All right, so that is all I have for you. Well, we still went 20 minutes, and I didn't even have a lot of current conditions in, but I wanted to make sure we went and did a thorough job on the forecast and take a look at a couple things. Appreciate everybody checking in and watching this. As always, go ahead and like and all that fun stuff down. I always get it wrong. Down there. Hit like, hit subscribe. Please tell people about it. I hope, like I said, I hope you're able to, hope you stick through this and just, pick up something from these things. Just because, like I said, you can go and you can watch your news, guys. But I'm going to give you a little more detail that maybe you need. Maybe you're traveling somewhere. Maybe you're going to the hockey game this weekend because we got some friends coming into town to Grand Forks. Because UND's got the home series for the first round of the playoffs. So maybe you're coming in for that. Who knows where you're going. But we just want to make sure you're getting all the details depending on what you have going on. All right, one more time. There's the wind chills. There's our current wind chills. Our Henninger down there is at a warm, balmy -3 now. Much of the areas in the pink here are looking at teens to 20 below zero. So we're still looking at maybe the possibility of 30 to 35 below in some of these areas, especially in the north. So bundle up out there tonight. A couple more nights of cold weather, and then we got it. Then we made it. Now we're gonna get into the warmer temperatures after that. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe. Stay warm.